I have played games all my life. It started with RPGs in the 80s, miniature games in the 90s, a career in serious game design for the next 25 years, and a return to the hobby in the late 2010s when crowdfunding heralded in a new golden age for the industry and our hobby. But something strange happened in 2020. It wasn't just a global pandemic that made many of us realize the potential of playing games solo. No, that year and every one thereafter, something would click in me that would shift the way I looked at board games and RPGs. And with every new discovery came the closing of another path that no longer felt right for me. I first discovered in 2020 that I enjoyed solo play even more so than cooperative play, as it allowed me to truly immerse myself in the fantastical worlds that were waiting for me to explore. Competitive games were out, but even game experiences that still required others to play, like a majority of role-playing games. Then in 2021, I realized I preferred exploring narrative adventure games over reading books and watching movies, because of the interactive nature of experiencing a story and adding my own actions and decisions to the overall outcome. So I started getting rid of Euro games, abstract games, and mechanically crunchy games that made immersion difficult. The next year, I started craving campaign adventures more and more as they moved further away from the concept of playing a game and more towards telling a story. I traded one-off game sessions, replayability, and the concept of winning in for fail-forward homebrewing and cinematic play. When I realized in 2023 my collection was slowly but surely becoming a lifetime of adventures, I stopped backing and buying new games. But of course, many were still in the process of development and delivery, and, running out of space, I started culling games that did not meet the aforementioned criteria. With ever-decreasing new games grew a newfound love for the ones I still had. And in 2024, with the resurgence of solo game playing in role-playing games, I felt the hobby was coming full circle for me once again, with more and more indie but also industry-led forays into how to bring story-focused adventure experiences to the table, regardless of whether they are a miniature board game or an RPG or a hybrid version thereof. One thing was for sure, the future is more exciting than ever. But this also means a less conventional approach to adventure. In 2025, a riskier journey into mechanics, components, and the nature of crafting your own experiences was applicable to me. Whether it's a simple hack or a complete new experience, with increased homebrewing of RPG-infused board games and the rediscovery of older campaigns, I had less and less time to spend truly diving into the last vestiges of new games coming in. And that's why, this year, I will list 10 tabletop experiences in board games and RPGs that I received in 2025 that are memorable due to their specific experimental imprint they left on my gaming mind and heart, and certainly in that first jolt you get when experiencing it for the first time. No, I have not played any of these nominees extensively. This is a first introduction to a new experience, be it as the original creator intended, or how I, on the receiving end, decided to experience it. So join me for on this journey of mystery, delight, surprise, and discovery. Your entry into another world always starts with the unboxing, right? You get that big box with treasures inside, you lift the contents out, carefully removing the plastic and lift the cover. Some games seem to have less than you expected, or simply didn't live up to the apparent avalanche of goodies that were advertised during a crowdfunding campaign. Traditionally, RPGs have had this issue as there's not much more than a couple of books, maybe a map, maybe a few cards and dice inside. Well, since Dragonbane's fame to boost, a box full of standees, sheets, maps, and other goodies, companies are now trying to emulate that model. Arkham Horror the RPG is one of them and has even released 2 more expansion boxes with fully realized, ready-to-go adventures inside. But board games are not to be left behind in the race to wow the unpacker. Soul Raider's book-shaped box may not look like one in size, it's huge, but once you unclasp the lid, the colors, the textures, the sheer attention to detail astounds. And where quality may not be a big thing, games like Malia make up in sheer quantity. tray after tray in a oversized box make this a treasure to savor, bit by bit. These are the nominees for most surprising unboxing: Arkham Horror the role-playing game, The Hungering Abyss; Soul Raiders; Malia, Lands of Legends. And the winner is Arkham Horror the role-playing game, The Hungering Abyss. World building is an important part for the immersion that occurs at the table. It's not just about story, although we will get onto that later. It's also about if the world your character is engaging with feels alive, respondent, and adaptive. This year, we've seen some of the most outlandish settings yet, from Muppets in a Lord of the Rings world in the very colorful land of Eam, where every non-player character has a backstory to tell and every spot on the map is a microcosm on its own, to topical water worlds where amphibians spar with humans only to decide who gets to fight the invading monsters from another realm. Or you can also just crash land on an alien world and learn the lay of the land by setting one foot in front of the other until the story fabric reveals itself. From the excellent RPG hex crawl Land of Eam to dungeon crawl and RPG Tidal Blades 2 Rise of the Unfolders, and onwards to the true open world exploration that is Vantage. These are this year's contenders for most interesting world to discover. And the winner is Vantage. Once in a world, you want to explore far and wide and have the proper tools to do so. A framework of guidelines to get you moving and discovering and capture the spirit of exploration, yet always remaining intuitive enough as you move from one location to the next. Whether it's zooming in from an overland point of view into a close-up encounter where parts of the map change with overlaying cards, a fully fleshed out hex crawl, each location richly populated with NPCs and plot threads, or a totally new way of divining the land through tarot cards, the experience of exploration has never felt so natural and engaging. Aridia pushes the user-friendliness of an RPG in a box. Land of Eam presents us with a fully realized group RPG that works just as well solo. And the Tainted Grail solo RPG has us re-examine the lands we thought we knew from the board game, but now in a card-laying emergent story format. The best exploration techniques of the year are Aridia, The Paths We Dare Tread; Land of Eam RPG; Tainted Grail, Song of a Dying World solo RPG. And the winner is Tainted Grail, Song of a Dying World solo RPG. From exploring the land to encounters along the way, to the people we meet and epic tales we scribe, story immersion is paramount to the memories of good gaming in the past. It makes us excited about pulling the game off our shelf again and back onto the table. When a game instantly transports us to a world by giving us a playable version of a video game and series of lore books, or presents us with an instantly recognizable realm of fantastical creatures to collect and train, when it on-ramps us easily into a high fantasy cozy realm of questing for NPCs, leveling up and roleplay, we see the story from the start and easily accept the challenges ahead. Chip Theory Game gave us a tabletop version of the Elder Scrolls that continues a rich legacy of stories from the continent of Tamriel. Awakened Realms wrote an enigmatic tale around encountering Pokemon-like mistlings and solving a mystery haunting the land. And Far Off Games crafted wonderful tools to quickly dive into their adventurous world of challenges and riches. These are the tabletop adventures with fast story immersion. The Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of the Second Era; Dragon Eclipse; Aridia, The Paths We Dare Tread. And the winner is Dragon Eclipse. Campaign games are getting a bad rap these days. if only because people can't get groups together for extended amounts of time, and content creators rather cover as many games as possible than spend all their time covering one long campaign game. That makes sense, but the general effect is that shorter campaigns are in and longer ones are out. Not for this guy. I love my epic stories long and multi-layered. It can be a straight-up classic 18 tactical scenario as demonstrated in Tidal Blades 2, or 12 scenarios of narrative exploration and combat in Dragon Eclipse. It can even just be a vast number of location cards and connected events as given to us by Vantage. The juiciest campaigns this year consist of those 3 tabletop adventures. And the winner is Tidal Blades 2: Rise of the Unfolders. But to be a tabletop adventure, a game has to have more than a cool world to explore and story to read. It needs an actual physical presence on the table, a feast for the eyes, a setting represented through cards or tiles that add that extra immersion and make you want to keep it out for weeks before packing it all up again. Setup and teardown time is important, but more so the sheer awe that the collected components invoke, especially when revealed over time. Be it a moody, haunting scene of a Victorian-era ghost story at candlelight, a complete Viking journey across islands, including a 3D homestead you get to decorate, and a dedicated boss area, or a bright landscape of discoverable locations, magnified encounter scenes that evolve as you explore, pre-painted minis, and an easy-to-use die-cut character board. These are the nominees for Most Glorious Tabletop Presence. The Presence: Valheim, Iridia: The Paths We Dare Tread. And the winner is Iridia: The Paths We Dare Tread. Most tabletop adventures follow your standard journey, challenge, and discovery techniques, but sometimes the bar will be raised by an innovative new way of doing things that pushes the genre further. It's that power of iterating on familiar systems without losing the narrative connection that continues to advance our hobby in tabletop gaming into higher realms. This year, most innovations came mostly from the RPG corner with the cozy Legends in the Mist and the non-conflict Mappa Mundi, focusing heavily on story-powered rules frameworks. The former relies on narrative tags succinctly powering players' action rolls and having game loops called scenes that always propel the plot forward. The latter has players author scenes by actively shaping the narrative, has 3-phase chapters in which research determines the journey and journey shapes the encounter with a monster you are meant to study, using novel journey cards and simple dice rolls or keywords to determine success or failure in each phase. And failure, of course, leads to more story moments. From the board game corner, Storyfold Wildwoods jumps out with its smart fold-open dashboard and illustrated scene-per-page reveals, which you manipulate the protagonist through smart usage of action cards and dice rolls. Those are the nominees for Best Innovation to the Hobby, and the winner is Legend in the Mist RPG. From unboxing to world discovery, exploration, and story campaign, displaying wonderful tabletop scenes and using innovative gameplay, which game at first glance, in a single session, left the best impression and makes me want to pick up the game again? Which board game or role-playing game experience deserves to be called not only a great tabletop adventure, but the best of 2025? From all the nominees on my list, 3 stood out as being instantly engaging, intrinsically memorable, and serve the solo, story-driven campaign player that I am to further explore. Tidal Blades 2: Rise of the Unfolders by Druid City Games. Iridia: The Paths We Dare Tread by Far Off Games. And Dragon Eclipse by Awaken Realms. And the winner of the 2025 Story Tiles Game of the Year is Dragon Eclipse. I may play my game solo, but I'm not alone in my love for tabletop adventures. I offered my friends in the Adventure Board Game and Co-op Guild Discord communities a chance to vote for their favorite game of the year. 3 games ended with the most votes: Dragon Eclipse, Stalker, the board game, and Legend in the Mist RPG. And the winner with the most votes, and it was a close one, ended up being Stalker, the board game. Now keep in mind that some games, although technically 2024 games, were delivered to backers and or sufficiently played in 2025 to form an opinion. But enough about 2025. There were games that didn't deliver this year despite the best efforts of their creators. So what can we expect next year? Well, keeping in the trend of soloable, story-focused campaign games that look great on the table and continue to push the envelope of gameplay and immersive experiences, I chose 3 hot tickets that most likely you've heard of, if not actively sought out yourself. The trend of limitless freedom to explore the 4 horizons of a realm, rich in encounters and discoveries, Story of Many is setting for itself a very high bar with both pre-written and random dungeon delving, overland journeying, and a strong sense of character development. Similar, but already delivering to supporters right now, is the French Malia, Lands of Legends. With its more dedicated scenarios and dungeons, but a feeling of playing an RPG in a box that we have not yet seen since Folklore the Affliction, only with a more modernized gameplay framework. And finally, the culmination of Awaken Realms story game efforts, going all the way back to This War of Mine, through Tainted Grail, Ether Fields, ISS Vanguard, and Dragon Eclipse, comes Lands of Evershade. Thematically dark, apocalyptic fantasy akin to the old Dark Sun RPG, but with a table presence that breathes RPG goodness, complete with a player's handbook, character boards, dynamic encounter maps, and several narrative adventures to go on. These are the true gems of 2026, and my pick for 2026 is Lands of Evershade. And that wraps it up for this year. No matter what game you bring to the table, regardless of how many sit with you, put on some background music, grab a drink, and start adventuring, because the worlds that await you, all they require is that you keep exploring.